Yes, I should have talked about Bollywood a long time ago. It's just that I don't know all that much about the film industry in India. Shameful, I know. But I do know one movie. Is the Doom to FPS? Is the Beatles to popular music? Is Sholay the big daddy of Bollywood cinema? If there's one word I can use to describe Sholay, it's that it's an epic. Watching this film is like going into a trance. It has everything, and everything is dialed up to 11. Intense action, grandiose story, romantic drama, mesmerizing song and dance, even slapstick comedy. That's why this type of films is called masala films, a mixture of genre, complex in flavor, much like the spice it was named after. So today, we are going to examine the film from a few different angles, and see why this film feels epic. And through this, learn to appreciate a different type of cinema. Sholay is a 1975 curry western action film with elements of romance, musical, comedy, and a bunch of other stuff. In the film, two young gunslinging thieves are hired by a retired police officer to protect a village and capture the notorious bandit Gava Singh. It's an emotional roller coaster, sometimes funny, sometimes tragic. Every character is tied to this epic story. Here, Sholay exhibits its first major difference to your standard Hollywood films. In Sholay, every character is defined by an exaggerated trait. If a girl is supposed to be a chatterbox, then she's comically chatty.
यहाँ मोटर गाड़ी नहीं मिलेगी कि बैठे और गर्र से चल दिए।
If a widow lives a sad life, she'll wear nothing but white, symbolizing how her life has lost all color. If a jailer is supposed to be an incompetent tyrant, then we should move on before this video gets demonetized. But perhaps no characters demonstrate this better than the main antagonist. Look at this slimy, sadistic bastard of a man, forcing his foul henchmen to play Russian roulette.
बच गया साला.
Killing them after the game. Kidnapping a girl, forcing her to dance on broken glass for his amusement. There is not a single shred of relatability in this character. In fact, the director specifically did away with the tire trope of bandits seeking a life of crime out of desperation. This man is enjoying the crime, and you can see it just from the smile. His dialogue is also similarly grandiose.
झांक कर देखो अपने अपने घरों से. यही जियाले आए थे तुम्हें गब्बर सिंह से बचाने के लिए.
See how he's making an announcement instead of talking to people. Every action is theatrical. In fact, every character talks like this.
बुराई ने बंदूक चलाना सिखा दी थी. नेकी हल चलाना सिखा दी.
Almost like poetry. Unlike the relatable villain that is all the rage these days, in Sholay, characters are larger than life, a style of writing more common in comic books than movies. The only Hollywood movie I can remember with similar writing happens to be another favorite epic of mine, Conan the Barbarian. The characters, the dialogue.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
The larger-than-life evil.
That is strength, boy.
All evoke a similar feel, the feel of an epic folk legend. Of course, that's just the writing. The presentation of it has to match too, and Sholay does not disappoint. One of the most impressive things about its cinematography is the range of expression. When the film calls for a quiet, self-reflecting conversation, it quietly glides along, relying on the background action to keep the film from feeling static. And when the action is at high gear, the camera moves and is downright stylish. The wide shots are picturesque, and the close-ups punch you right in the eyeball. The carefully crafted intensity is perhaps done best in the opening train robbery scene. Take this shot for example. The punch in exaggerates the power of the bullet hit. Then it zooms back out, with the gun occupying the most eye-catching position, giving you an oh shit moment, and bam! Cut to the reaction. The kinetic energy of the camera and the editing carefully amplifies every action. See how the camera whips down the barrel and the gun fires right at your eye level. It's not exactly dropping the moon on you, yet it feels very high octane. Of course, unlike the moon, the stunt works in the films are done for real. The high-speed falls onto water and downhill are all dangerous, and in turn, thrilling to watch. It's a continuation of legacy set by the greats like Buster Keaton, but bigger and faster. It's why the Mission Impossible series feels so epic. It's why the Fast and Furious franchise remains relevant. In the same vein, Sholay uses the same camera technique and the same realistic stunts to present this bombastic action adventure. And finally, let's talk about audience expectation. It's one of those often overlooked aspects that heavily alters the perception of a film. Go into Mission Impossible expecting a nuanced and thought-provoking story, and you are likely to be disappointed. The same applies to Sholay, and to an extent, masala films in general. Unlike traditional Hollywood movies that try their best to be immersive to not break the fourth wall, masala films throw away all of that, and opt to prioritize entertainment first. In some way, Sholay is a series of shows, connected with a narrative. Whenever the action scene finishes, there is a dramatic scene to intrigue you, followed by a song and dance sequence for fun, and when it ends, boom! A literal explosion kicks off the next action scene. Audiences are expected to enjoy the presentation, while the narrative is just a bonus. Immersiveness is wholly optional. The film is a party. Going to see this film is an event, and that mindset has a special bonus. It's not Ethan Hunt hanging off the side of a flying plane. It's Tom Cruise. Those aren't bandits falling off a horse, they are performers. The lack of immersion works in the film's favor, as it makes the spectacle feel real, or rather, makes you realize that it is real. And in terms of the narrative, the film doesn't demand you to put yourself in any character's shoes. The audience merely observe the characters from a safe distance. You may come to love the characters, but you don't have to feel like the characters. That, in turn, allows these characters to be much grander, comically exaggerated, and still remains acceptable. Everything in the film can be heightened to an epic scale because of the mindset the audience has. If you can't tell, I love Sholay. And I love movies like Conan the Barbarian, Mission Impossible, and even The Fast and Furious. There is a lot of judgment against these types of movies that favor spectacles over stories. I can end this episode by saying things like, movies that seek to entertain also have their values, blah blah blah. But I think the easiest way for you to open your eyes and come to appreciate these types of films is for you to just watch Sholay. We already saw its technical competence, the character writing, the camera, the stunts, and the pacing. It has clear intent and great execution. And if you still think films like these are low-hanging fruits of the film world, consider this. The film took 2.5 years to make, with the train robbery scene alone taking 7 weeks. That's the dedication of artists.